Wow. That is strong from Pep Guardiola. I didn't expect that. That's my first time hearing that. I didn't expect him to be as strong. That's obviously saying that there's an issue behind the scenes there with Jack Grealish. And look, I've spoken to you about this on numerous occasions. I've actually even floated the idea of Jack Grealish leaving City in the summer because it just seems to not work, right? Doku seems to be in front of him. And even when Doku's on the bench, you'd expect, okay, Jack to start. It's still not happening. Me and you did speak about this, and we did say Jack still plays the big games.
Yeah.
But I think you can hear it from Guardiola there. He's almost saying, I need to see something. I need to see a bit more. I need to see a bit more. And I'm not going to give you 3 or 4 games to get into rhythm. You get 20 minutes. You get 20 minutes. This is the Man City way. You get 20 minutes to get in rhythm. And if I don't see it, good luck.
I take on board what Pep says, and it goes without saying that he knows a hell of a lot more about football than I do. But
there's a butt coming out.
I think every player is different. So if I think back to Jack's time at Villa, when he came back from injury, and he's had a few niggles and a lot of knocks this season, has never had a consistent run of games. He always needed 3 or 4 games to get back to his rhythm. Certainly in the Premier League, when he came back from injury. In the Championship, I think he could coast by because he was such a high level player. But every player is different, and I do think with Jack that quite simply, he's just had niggles this season. It hasn't been the same season for him that it was last time. When he had a run of games last season, he pretty much played every game, didn't he? You saw the best of Jack Grealish at Manchester City, and he was a big part of that team that won the treble. Pep's using the media to his advantage, and he's hoping that maybe Jack he'll get a knock of fire in his belly, and he'll come out for full force in the next game that he plays. But I do honestly think that if you're not playing him and you are bringing him on for 20 minutes here or there, you aren't going to get the rhythm. He's a player that needs to be starting games.
It was this thing at the end of the season, and I wasn't one of those that kind of pointed at Jack and saying, all this drinking, all this partying, because you want to treble, do what you want, mate. I mean, you're a superhero for doing that. And so, but I was looking at him thinking, you do realise that Pep's expecting you to go again next season. Like all those players, it's not one and done. It's like more and more and more and more. And I just wonder if Jack kind of hit that height, and it was a massive one, wasn't it? I mean, a treble, and not just a treble, but being a focal point in the treble. Like him and Haaland, that link up was fantastic. But I was watching it thinking, this City team go again and again and again. This isn't like any other thing you're used to, where it's okay, we come up from the Championship, let's all celebrate. No. They expect another treble. They expect a double. You expect to get another 20 goal and assist contribution. And I do wonder if maybe Jack hasn't realised that.
I do think he's not the only player in the world that parties, but because he's a high-profile player, everything he does in the summer is always flagged up, and he's always in the papers, always in the news. Jack Grealish isn't doing anything different in the summer last season to what he did the year before and what he did when he was a young lad at Villa.
But you know what? Yeah, and I agree with that. But I don't think Kevin De Bruyne does that.
Not every player.
I don't think that the star players. I don't think Rodri does that. I don't think Ruben. I don't think they do that. I don't know if they. And look, Haaland certainly has a little party. Haaland, yeah, but I don't know if it's the norm for some of these players as it is. It's an English culture thing, isn't it?
He's almost too honest, isn't he, Jack?
Yeah.
I think he's a victim of his own honesty at times. He doesn't try and hide what he does. He's just Jack from Solihull that's done this kind of thing his entire life. I don't think you can put what he does in the summer onto how his form has been this season. If you look at his conditioning,
still looks great.
We'd all like to look like Jack Grealish, wouldn't we? So I don't think you can put it. Oh, I'll take it all. I don't think you can. I don't think you can put it on that. But my big message would be that the season before, when he wasn't a part of that team that won the Premier League, he was partying hugely then. And then he came back the next season and was a massive part of them winning the treble. I think it's purely and simply down to niggling injuries that he's had all season. It's set him back the whole season. I think he's only started 7 Premier League games, and starting 7 Premier League games, Jack's a player that needs rhythm. I can't overemphasise that enough.
Should he be worried about his future at the club? Because, again, I would have thought, let's not forget, and this isn't Jack's fault, but he was bought for 100 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money. He's one of the highest and most expensive players of all time in football, of all time. Like, there can't be 7 higher signings than Jack Grealish. Do you think he's worried about his future at City? And should he be worried?
Has he got another 2-3 years left on his contract?
I think we've seen how quick Guardiola ships out class players. Like Cancelo, I thought was fantastic buy. Leroy Sané, who I thought was outstanding, good buy. Raheem Sterling, who scored 20 goals 4 or 5 seasons in a row. When Jack came in, get out of here. Mahrez, he doesn't seem to, put his arm around the player and say, okay, you're going to be okay. Does he?
I mean, you forget Jack and Sterling are a similar age. I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but
They
you
are.
think
They're
of
out
Sterling as being this experienced player, but you still, because of the way Jack is, you think of him as
Quite
as
young.
being a kid still,
Yeah.
don't you? But he's 28, 29 now. Jack Grealish, I don't think he's got to worry about his future. I think probably at the end of his contract, I think you probably will see him move on from Manchester City with a lot of medals in his pocket and having won a lot of trophies. I don't think he needs to be worried about England in the summer either, really. I think Southgate's loyal to the players that have gone to the last few tournaments, and Jack's gone to the last few tournaments. So I think, as long as nothing disastrous happens for him, I think he'll be in the England squad. But there is young players starting to come through now, and Sterling was always a Gareth Southgate favourite, and he's not been there for a long
Sterling
time
was
now.
a banker for England. All of a sudden, he wasn't. Would you welcome him back at Villa Park?
I knew you were going to ask me that at some point.
Because I feel like he's going to leave City at some point, and I think there'll be some point very, very soon. I don't think there's any other place he would want to go apart from going abroad potentially, and he's got that. Like, he'll be fantastic in La Liga, fantastic. But I think he'd want to come back to Villa Park, especially this Villa.
My understanding of it is that he probably wouldn't go back. I think maybe
That's
at
not
one.
the question.
No, I'll get there. Don't worry about that. I think at one point the plan would have been to go back to Villa. At some point, I think maybe not thinking that Villa would be at the point that they're at now.
Yeah.
The Villa that Jack Grealish left isn't there anymore. Villa are a team competing towards the top four. I think he'd want to go and try another culture, try another country, another league, maybe Serie A, maybe La Liga. I think that would be what would happen for him next. I don't envisage a return to Villa in the near future. Would I take him back right now? Absolutely. Because he's a wonderful, wonderful footballer and one of the best players I've ever watched play for Villa. And I still think under Unai
I'm still
Emery,
like that about Coutinho. All the memories.
I mean, I've seen him play for Villa recently. So if Jack Grealish came back to Villa under Unai Emery, you would see one hell of a footballer.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.